I'm TJ.
And this is Warrior Showdown Season 2.
Fight 3. This was a really fun one because we took the biggest warrior in the cast and we pit him against the smallest warrior in the cast. Because it's fun.
That's Tom Quiche as the Gladiator.
And Wendy Lee as the geisha.
Yes.
If you saw any of the behind the scenes stuff, you know that at some point the geisha multiplies and she's actually not a geisha, she's twins. And they kind of like are Russian stacking dolls, well I guess Japanese stacking dolls, and they can hide each other in each other's robes and come out and then go back in when they want to. And so to achieve that, in the behind the scenes stuff, we pretended Wendy had a twin, Wanda, but on the day, what Wendy is not performing, Natalie's performing. But you're only going to see Wendy's face in this final project because anytime where both of them are on screen at the same time, I used face replacement so that it's always Wendy's face that you see. Tom Quiche really contributed a lot to the character of the Gladiator. A Gladiator is one of those warriors where they're professional, but they're not just fighting to win, they're fighting to entertain. So a Gladiator embodies the spirit of Warrior Showdown more than any other character. And that gives him some levity to infuse humor and also some character where he can be a little bit vain and a little bit arrogant, and certainly he would underestimate this little girl. So here he doesn't care that he got cut, he cares that
vain.
that it
Cut his face.
he's investigating how cool his scars look or not. So that was your first clue that there's another one of them, because we had another set of hands that came out. I don't think the Gladiator really knows what's going on yet. He just knows that the little girl did something weird and hurt him. Those fans that they are using are real metal fans, but difficult to manage.
Yeah,
and
those took a lot. And the gloves were also practical because the metal in the fans actually also hurt our fingers when we were constantly opening them and closing them. But they gave this really cool heft to the fans that made it easier for us to really treat them like actual weapons.
Yeah, they're using them like weapons, and they're using them like daggers that open and close. They are real metal, so that helps because it gave them some genuine weight. Here's what the Gladiator puts together.
Oh, there are two of us!
The cat is out of the bag. The timing of this fight was probably the most difficult because when you have two people in a dance or two people in a choreographed fight sequence, their movement needs to perfectly correspond to the other person's movement. But when you add a third component, it doesn't just make it 3 times as hard, it's exponentially more difficult because the variables are now compounded in such a way that it's incalculable. You just have to really get in sync with those other people.
Hey, look, we're twins!
One of the things that we wanted to explore with the geisha characters, and we're letting you in on some, we talk about how these characters could evolve as the fights go on based on potential future matchups.
Right.
As it turns out, the geishas did not win, so we don't go on. But what we were going to do is each fight, they were going to reveal a new twin. So if they make it to the next, they wouldn't be twins at that point.
We'd be triplets!
If they were to go to another round, there would be 3, and then if they make it to the next round, there would be 4, and if they make it to the championship round, there'd be 5 of them.
See, you could have had 5 geisha assassins.
But I don't think you're missing out because what Tom Quiche contributes in round 2 is pretty awesome. These are, in that shot, they're special effects, but in this shot, because their chopsticks are too heavy to stick, we used straws that we dressed like drinking straws and stuck them to his body, and it worked really well. We employed the same technique later with arrows because they just had too much weight. So to get them to stick, we just found these little hollow plastic straws. We liked the idea of changing the levels and letting the fight evolve as it went on, and so we had big Gladiator beastly man versus little girl. Then we had big beastly man versus 2 little girls, and now we have big beastly man versus big girl with 4 arms.
That is not actually me on Wendy's shoulders. That was me on TJ's shoulders. He's hiding under all of that fat.
That's true for where we grew, but now she's standing on a stool.
Right.
So she doesn't have to fight. Tom really did break those sticks over his back. We did it 3 times, and for the first 2, I think he did what's natural for any man, is to want to make sure he breaks it. So he just snapped it. But for the 3rd one, he just like took his time and went, and splintered wood went everywhere. We freaked out. It was so awesome. Seeing things break in slow motion is just super cool.
Everything in slow motion pretty much is super cool.
One of the things you'll notice from this that's different than round 1 is, even though there are the same blood effects, we use practical blood on the bodies as people are getting hit. So Tom's character, like that, is an effect, obviously, but then we have to match that to what's on his body from the day. Tom was pretty adamant about wanting to be the most bloody of any warrior, and we did achieve that.
He was just a bloody, pulpy mess.
He's also got the most skin exposed, so if he gets hit with a blade, it's noticeable.
Yes.
And
we were just going to town on him. We don't care.
This little bit right here, even though this fight was very carefully rehearsed, and they worked harder than any other group, more time than any other group, over a longer period of time than any other group. When we got to that slashing section, it was just like, okay, you guys spin around, and Tom, you react to what you think they're doing.
It worked out.
It was good.
It worked out.
And they started out as 1 and then became 2. And I thought it would just be like beautiful irony if they finish as 1 again. So I wanted Tom to bash their heads together until they were refused into 1. And as an idea, it's great. But then as I'm putting it together, I'm like, this is disgusting. What is wrong with me? And Tom is equal parts man, movie star, and beast.
Yes.
And he really knew how to bring, that's so gross. He really knew how to bring to the role of the Gladiator what it needed. And he's a huge warrior in real life. And he combines that with just this incredible professional work ethic where it doesn't matter how, like Warrior Showdown is a small project for a big time pro like him. But that he didn't treat it like that. He treated it like it was the most important job that there is. And it's a credit to his professionalism and his commitment. So I'm really thankful for the opportunity to work with these great talents.
And he won.
And he won. But in a super, super close fight. You know what, actually, even though it says 49-51, the percentage was really 50-50. The Gladiator just had more votes, but it was not even representative of an entire percent.
Yeah.
So I just rounded so that it would be a little bit clearer, because if it said 50-50, it would look like a tie. All right, that's it.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.